Hey friends, I'm Cynthia Top, and I am the host of the Facebook group How to Create a Magical Life. And today's live stream is going to be about vision boards that actually work. So give me just a second here. I'm going to try to start streaming it in my group as well. And then we'll get started. So so we're going to talk today about vision boards that actually work. Let me just get this. Oh, come on here. Doesn't want to do what I want it to do. Well, bother. Okay, we're just going to stick with doing it like this. So, like I said, I am Cynthia Top. I am the host of the Facebook group How to Create a Magical Life, and today's topic is vision boards that actually work. And I will put the link to my Facebook group in the comments after that. So there's going to be a bonus tip after this that I will put only in my Facebook group about vision boards. So I get this question all the time about vision boards. We get all excited when we make them, especially if you do them with a group of other people and you're really like feeling like, oh, I want this to happen this year. I'm feeling passionate about this. But what about the stuff that you put on your vision board and it doesn't work? What do we do with that emotionally? And how do we handle that, and why does it happen? Why do we get all excited at the beginning of the year about the end of this year, about the coming year, and we put stuff on our vision board, or however you do it, if you do it as a journaling kind of process, we set intentions, we set goals, and then it doesn't work. Why does this happen? And what do we do with that? What about all the things that we think that we hear in our knowers, but somehow we must have gotten it wrong because it doesn't happen? So that's what we're going to be digging into today. And I want you to walk away from watching this knowing clearly why some of the things that you put on your vision board or that you set intentions for about the year, why some of them happen and others don't. Why is it that we get it right sometimes and other times we don't? So I find this time of year, in between the winter solstice and the arbitrary date of New Year's Day, a really profound time for processing the year that's just happened and then the year that we're moving toward. Because, okay, so yesterday was the solstice. And I love calling it sun return because it's that beautiful hope of each day is getting longer, the sun is coming back. But we don't actually experience sun return yet. Yes, we know that, okay, what is it, a minute or so of extra daylight per day or whatever. But you don't wake up today going, oh my gosh, the day is 2 hours long, the daylight's 2 hours longer. It's not immediate like that. So there's this period of like, we have the knowledge or the hope that the days are getting longer, but we don't actually see it yet. And it's such a profound metaphor for what we are creating or attracting, receiving, manifesting in our lives. So this period of time in between sun return and then this arbitrary day that we call New Year's Day, which is just set by the calendar, it has nothing really to do with the sun or the earth and all of, the movement of the planets. it can be a really profound time of looking back at this past year to say what worked and what didn't work, and then starting to look forward. So I want to actually do this live stream today by showing you my vision board. Now, I do my vision boards this big. It's just a little piece of cardboard. And the reason that it's this size is totally arbitrary. I wanted to have it so that I could put it up in the corner of my bulletin board where it wouldn't be taking up too much space, but it would be there in front of me all year. And the other thing I do is I use, let me get this right. I use photos that I get off the internet. I don't do the thing of cutting out photos and letters and stuff from magazines. And the reason that I do that is because I can actually find images that more clearly represent to me what it is that I want to manifest by looking online for photos. And I'll just say I'm really good about not stealing photos for my marketing. I always use either free ones or I pay for my stock images. But for this, I will pull photos off that just represent for me what it is that I am trying to receive, attract, create, manifest. So I was looking, as I was preparing for this, at my vision board again and thinking about the different things that I had on here. And I want to tell you, I actually made some notes here about what I manifested and what I didn't. So the first thing I want to show you, and I'm going to put this right up here, and you see, oops, I'm going the wrong way, right by my finger there is, it's so hard to do this, a picture of the house that we used to own in Golden, Colorado. And then above it, right here, is this little image of a check. And I had written in there the amount of money that it would take to pay off our house. And I actually have had that image, those two images, that house in Golden and that little check, I think I've put it on my vision board for 3 years in a row, maybe. And at the end of each year, I would look at it and I think, okay, we're a little bit closer because we were paying the mortgage every month, but we hadn't paid it off. And I would be so excited each year that this was going to be the year we would pay off our house somehow magically. And I really believed that. And yet it didn't happen for several years in a row. Well, then in 2017, we sold that house and we moved here to where we are now in Salida, Colorado, which is a little mountain town of about 6,000 people. And the real estate prices are so much cheaper, and the craziness of what's been happening in the sort of Denver metro area, which is where Golden is, of real estate just going, the prices going through the roof. We were able to pay for our house here with cash. So I didn't get specifically what I was longing for to pay off that house in Golden with cash, well, however, but then we manifested it in this move that suddenly we don't have a mortgage. And there's two lessons for me out of this. One is I was disappointed those other years. I would look at my vision board at the end of the year and think, oh, we're no closer to paying off our house. The problem, one of the lessons from this is my time frame was wrong. That was a big dream. It wasn't just a dream to happen in 2 months. It actually turned out to be a dream that happened over a period of 4 years, maybe, and we were building to it for longer than that by trying to pay off a little bit more on the mortgage when we could, and all these ways trying to see it happen. So it's not that I got it wrong those earlier years. It's just that I had to be more patient. The time frame was longer. So sometimes we need to look at what was in our hearts at the beginning of 2017 and say, okay, it didn't happen this year. Is it because that was a longer time frame for this goal? It's still in my heart. I still know in my knower that it wants to happen, but I have to be more patient, or I have to keep working toward it. I had some other thought in mind about the house too, but I can't remember now what it was. So I'll go on to a couple other ones. The next one that I have in a few places on my board, this image right here is the cover of the Artist's Way course that I've taught a few times. And these two images are covers of some of Martha Beck's books. And it was in my heart at the beginning of 2017 to teach some more courses. I loved teaching the Artist's Way. I loved teaching Martha Beck's Finding Your Way in a Wild New World. And so I said, well, in 2017, I want to teach some more courses. And I tried. I put it out there, I think maybe even 2 different times, that I was going to do one of Martha's books. And I had big dreams that when we got here after our move, that I would teach the Artist's Way in person here in our new little town. And when I put it out there, nobody signed up. And I was like, oh, I feel this thing inside of me that I'm supposed to be teaching courses. It didn't happen. And as I was processing that with my coach, she said to me, Cynthia, I think it's time for you to start teaching your own material, not other people's stuff. And I went, you're right, because something rose up in me that said, yes, 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 I need to start teaching what I've learned and what I live, my own material. There's nothing wrong with teaching other people's material, but I had grown to the point where I needed to be teaching my own stuff. So the lesson in this is that I tried, but it didn't work, because the goal was actually, the true thing that was inside of me was bigger than what I had been able to see at the beginning of 2017. I had gotten part of it right. Cynthia, teach courses. But I didn't have the, I'll say self-confidence, but it's not quite that. I didn't have it in me yet to start offering my stuff. I hadn't even thought of that until my coach said to me, it's time. And then when I put my material out there and I offered this course, How to Create a Magical Life, all of a sudden it started flowing, and I'm going to be offering it again in January, and I'm so excited, and it feels so real and so good. So the lesson here is sometimes as we're asking what wants to happen, we get part of it right. I got the part right about teaching courses, but I didn't get the other part right because it was too big for me to grasp a year ago. So sometimes it's a matter of we just have to grow a little bit more before we can see the full extent of this thing that we're trying to create. Another example. There is a picture, sorry, I keep doing this the wrong way, right there, of the cutest little stucco house, little adobe house that we were interested in here when we were talking about moving to Salida. And I was sure, I put it on my vision board because I was sure that was the house that we were going to be able to buy here. And then we had a series, sorry, I need to move here. We had a series of things happen that delayed us putting our house in Golden on the market for about 3 or 4 months. And by the time we did put our house on the market so we could actually commit to a house here, that little cute adobe house that I was sure we were going to have was already under contract. And I was so bummed, and I was so confused. I prayed, and I was like, why? I was sure we were going to end up with that particular house, but we didn't. I was sure up till the moment we signed the contract for this place. I was like, oh, I know that contract on the other place is going to fall through at the last minute. I kept checking, and no. So I got it wrong about which house. And the lesson in this case was, first of all, I didn't think to say this house or something better. Because sometimes the universe wants to give us something better than what we're able to ask for. I was asking partly for that house because it was a little bit cheaper than the one we ended up buying, and it was within the range of the amount of money I could believe that we were going to make selling our house in Golden. So I wasn't believing big enough. And what we ended up getting, the house that we bought here, was so much better. I drive past that place that I wanted so desperately, and I'm like, I'm so glad we didn't end up there. I love that we ended up somewhere better. So the lesson is to ask for this or something better for the highest good of everybody involved. And to not get completely attached, especially with a big specific like a house, to not get completely attached to it's that one, but to say that one or something better for the highest good of everybody involved. And one of the ways that I saw that highest good was, one more thing I want to show you from my vision board, is a picture right there of, it's a group photo from the belly dance troupe that I was part of in Golden, my beloved belly dance ladies. And I knew that when we moved here to Salida, I wanted to teach belly dance again. Well, no, actually, that's not true. I didn't know that. I knew I wanted to dance. I knew I wanted to be involved with the troupe. And I had already figured out that, as far as I could tell, there was not a troupe here who was doing the style of belly dance that I have been immersed in for 10 years. So when we were standing in the partially completed construction of where we actually ended up with the realtor, and she knew that I was a belly dancer, and she just said, as we were standing in this huge workshop space, you could teach belly dance here. And I went, I could. And now, we moved at the end of April, so whatever that is, 8 months later, I have a group of women who've been dancing with me for a while. I'm calling them my level 2 ladies, and I'm about to start another beginner class in January. And it has come true far beyond my expectations. So, and I'm so grateful. So the lesson from this is, sometimes the different things that we want, that we're trying to attract or receive, are kind of, they're intertwined, they're laced together. So if we had bought that little adobe house that I thought was so cute, I would have had to go around town and find a yoga studio, or somewhere that I could rent space to teach belly dance. And I don't know if I would have done it. But where we moved to was this very cool live-work townhome where the whole downstairs is workshop space. So I actually could legally set up a belly dance studio. It's zoned commercial, and I could go and get a business license. I didn't have to feel like I was doing something that was slightly like, oh, the city doesn't really approve of this, in my own home. And I have this space that the only thing I have to pay for is some liability insurance. And no studio rent. And because it's my space, I get to decide what nights of the week I want to have classes on, and I'm going to do a morning class in January. So it came out so much better than what I expected. I knew I wanted to dance. I didn't know I wanted to teach. I love teaching. I didn't know I wanted to teach. I discovered that along the way. And if we had bought that house that I was so attached to at the beginning, I probably wouldn't have done it. It wouldn't have turned out this way. So sometimes the things on our vision boards are, or that we, set as intentions or whatever, they're linked with other stuff that we can't foresee. And so there's a process of it unfolding. And then at the end of the year, you look back and go, wow, that came out exactly as it was supposed to, and even better than what I asked for. So those are my thoughts for today on why some of the things on our vision boards don't actually happen at all, or the way we want them to. Actually, I'm going to bring up one more thing. Sometimes we put things on our vision boards that it comes from here. It comes from our heads. It comes from, oh, I want this. I need this. And it doesn't happen because we don't actually manifest with our minds. Even though the early folks that were thinking about what this all meant, like Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, would have said, yeah, it's your thoughts. I don't believe that. It comes from deeper. It comes from your soul wanting to awaken. So sometimes what we say we want in our minds is not actually what our souls know that we need in order to become more conscious, to awaken. So if you have something on your vision board or your list of intentions from the beginning of 2017 that didn't happen, ask yourself, did I dream that up out of my mind, or did it come from my soul? See if you can feel where you generated that idea. Did it come from up here? And it might have seemed like a really good idea. Or did it come from deep within? Your gut, your belly. And if it came from deep within, then ask yourself, well, it didn't happen. Is this something that still feels like it wants to happen, but I just need to keep working at it? It's a long-term goal. Or is it tied to something else that hasn't unfolded yet, so that's why I don't have it? If it's something that came from your mind, just say, what do you know? I thought I was going to get that, but that was just a thought. It wasn't truly what wanted to happen. And just release it. Or perhaps there's something deeper under it, that you had this idea that was from your mind, but actually there's something deeper that truly does want to happen. Maybe it's bigger. Maybe it's bigger than what you could dream of. Like me with teaching my own material for my courses rather than teaching somebody else's materials. I put that on there as this combination of my soul knew I was supposed to be teaching courses this year and ongoing. My mind could only see me teaching The Artist's Way and books by Martha Beck. So I got part of it right, the part that came from my soul. And the part that came from my soul was teach courses. And then when I offered how to create a magical life, ba-ding, everything came together, So don't beat yourself up if there's some things on your vision board that haven't happened yet. Just look at them and ask yourself, what is the meaning? What are the lessons in these? And I'd love it as you watch this, if you want to post things, maybe you don't know why it didn't happen, and we can all help. So if you're not in my Facebook group yet, I'll put the link to that in the comments here, and join the Facebook group, and then post in the Facebook group if you have some things from your vision board that didn't happen that you want to kind of play with. Why didn't this work out? So this is just the first. I'm going to do a couple more of these. On the next step will be how to actually hear what wants to happen. And then I have one more idea that I'm going to do in between Christmas and New Year's with this. And then we'll have a little vision board making party in the easiest possible way so that we can create these together vision boards that actually work. So that's it. I'm Cynthia Top, and ciao for now, my friends.